Alright, let's put on the thrust washer and the elevation gears. Got our Allens ready. And now this is the thrust washer. And what I want to do is I want to clean this thing pretty meticulously. Make sure there's no grit or dirt or anything. Okay, that's one. You got the other one. In pretty nice shape. We're going to clean this, make sure it's in pristine shape. I kept these separated. These actually were really clean. There was no dirt, there was no nothing in them. See? Bearings. Nice. Okay. It's nice when you oil something how smooth it gets. Alright, we got the big gear here. Got a little tiny woodruff key. That's going to go into the shaft of this screw. And then we just pin it or screw it down like that. So I should actually have this guy ready. Alright, I'm putting the woodruff key in. I'm going to align this to get it just so. And then we're going to lift this puppy up. Alright. Alright. Alright, woodruff key. This is tricky, holding this thing up. This is why it helps to have everything ready. And then it falls. Luckily, I was able to get some thread in there. It's kind of funny. Okay. Cool. All right, to go in here, we got this, which will... Oh, I need to take the pin back out. Bear with me a second. All right, I took the pin back out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just mark this to put it back very easily. Always like to give the a shaft a little cleanup. Just to remove any kind of dirt or grime or impurities. Wipe it down with a paper towel. And then grease. Need a little bit of grease. Not a whole lot, but just a little skim coating. Nice. All right. Our wonderful marks. We could align our holes for our wonderful taper pin. Gotta love taper pins, right? Who doesn't love a taper pin? Me. I hate them. Me and taper pins do not get along. And I know there's some of you guys out there saying, yep, I hear you, my brother. I hate those things too. There. Oh well. Have a little whoops moment. We forgot to put this spacer in here, so I'll put this on. I'll put this on off camera. Those taper pins. We'll do this on camera. Why not? Okay. You little sucker, you. Come on. Stupid taper pin. Alright. Little tappity tap. Now we're cooking with gas. Alright. That's done. Next thing we're going to put in here is a little set screw. It's got a there's a brass shoe in there, which, you know, puts a little torque, a little pressure on that shaft. Take up any, you know, any play or whatever. All right, that looks good. The last thing is the handle. Now there's two flats on here and there's two set screws. Okay. We're good. Here's a progress shot of the screw in action. Work some of the oil down into the screw. Alright, we're good to go. Now we're going to get the motor on. We need some parts from our little parts department here for the motor. And I kind of, like I said, I grouped these all together in like groups. So we got these washers and these shims for the motor. These 4 long bolts are for the motor. These 4 bolts. We got these 2 set screws here. They're going to hold this little like fan blade to the shaft. We got some other motor parts here. Electrical stuff. And this guy. We got all our parts laid out here. What we're going to do is we're going to start by putting the pieces onto this part first here, the shaft. So we've got a little tiny spacer that goes in, and then we drop our shaft in there. Alright. Now you can see, I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but there are little bite marks where the grub screws bit into it. And that gives it, there's a little tiny bit of a relief, little gap here that was left. It's not critical because this is just a little fan blade, but we're going to line up those bite marks, try to get them positioned correctly. Next one. You can see right here is a little notch, a little cutout, so you could get an Allen key in there. I love the engineering that they put into this machine. You see that a lot. Before you cinch it down, you want to make sure that there's alright. I love that when you're filming a video and people are like, hey, how are you? They start talking to you. It's funny. I need a sign that says quiet on the set. Got all our parts laid out now, so we're gonna start with the shaft and get this section put together first. So we have a little spacer that goes back here. All right. Now I don't know if the camera will pick this up, but you'll see there's some little bite marks from the set screws. So we'll get a little visual on that, and we'll know how to space our fan blade out. It isn't a critical number. I have a line actually scribed as well. I don't know if you could see that. Let's hope so. There's a line right here that I scribed before I pulled the fan blade off. So I got the two Allen set screws in place and ready to go. Ooh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snug this up, lift this right up. Alright, I just snugged it just to make sure that my line is good. Alright, that looks pretty good. I don't know if you noticed, see these little, there's like a little indentation here, so you could get your Allen key in there. I love the engineering of this thing. I find that throughout the whole machine, these little ways of that they engineered in there, so you could, you know, make working on the machine a lot easier. Now I don't want to wrench this thing down way too tight. This is some kind of pot metal. Nice. All right. Okay, now we're gonna put it into this. This is the enclosure that gets mounted to the spindle casting inside the grinder. So what we have to do is we have to line up these 4 holes here, 2, 3, and 4, with these in here. And then we're going to attach it, these little screws right here. Let me go get a socket for this. Be right back. Alright. Now we're going to put this whole engine, this whole motor back together. Grease the bearings, put the preload springs in, and be done with it. Okay. Now this will take a little bit of playing around with this to get the holes lined up. So let's just give this a quick dry fit so we can get our hole spacing identified. This is always tricky to do. Alright, I'm a little off here. Oh. Alright, that looks like it's good. This is the right area. Alright, let's just set that like that. This is kind of a clumsy process. I apologize. But let's get our spacers in there. Our spring washers, that's going to put some preload on the shaft and a little bearing grease. do want to put a little blob on here. Not a blob, but a little coating here, just so it will hold it. Kind of hold it in place here. A little thin coat of grease so these don't fall out on me. And they just did. Alright, with a little bit of wrestling, I got this thing all bolted up now, so I'm just going to tighten this thing down. I need another wrench. Okay. Alrighty. That looks pretty good. I'm going to leave the wires and all that open, and the tags and stuff until I'm ready. I wire the VFD in and everything. So now what we have to do is bolt this to the motor. So let's stand this guy up. Now, I want to use a little drift here, something just to, there we go, to help with the alignment. There. I think that's pretty good. Yep. Just want to, just like a tire on your car, you don't want to cinch one all the way down until they're all located in. They all got some thread on them, some bite. And like a car, the tire, you gotta torque it like in an X pattern. Nice and smooth. I'll rotate this motor over here so you can see this piece that goes on. Come on. Not 100% sure exactly what this piece does. If it's just a guard or something. Could be exactly what it is, just a guard so a plethora of grinding dust doesn't get in there, but if that's its job, it didn't do its job well, because this thing was unbelievably loaded with grinding dust. Okay. What we're going to do now is we're going to make this, we're going to bring this over to the grinder. We're going to get the coupling put on, the spider, and get it mounted up. This is where the you see that little bite mark in there. Boy, these cameras just don't pick things up. At least they don't look like it in the viewfinder. But that's the bite mark from the set screw, so we know where this thing goes back in. Come on, baby, get in there. All right. This is a little stubborn. There we go. Oh, I bet you it went the other way. Whoop. There. You know, you move the coupling forward a little bit, and then when you turn it, it pulls it back right into that little dimple. Okay. All right. Now our spider will go right in here. Boy, these are tight, man. There we go. Ready to join up with its mate. All right, let's get over to the grinder and get this thing mounted. All right. Now I placed the motor into the back plate here, and there's these 4 screws that have fat ends on them, and they have a groove in them. And on this piece right here, you can see there's 2 holes on here, 2 holes on that side, and there's little tiny set screws that go in that bind. They screw into here, and they bind these 4 pins. Now I turned the coupling on the spindle side and on the motor side, and I pushed it in and got lucky the first time. It went right in smooth. So I just wanted to back it out to show you how it goes. And what you do is you just wiggle it in, and there we go. We have a good mate right here. As I'm spinning the spindle over here, I could see the motor turning. So we know we made good contact. So now that will stay in there. I've used the elevator crank, and I've lowered the motor down to line these set screws up perfect. So, actually, this is a little tricky. You know what? Cut this. Let me give you guys some light here. It's dark, so the camera wasn't picking that up whatsoever. Doesn't like that. Anyway. I wish I could show you a picture of how I look holding this light, trying to do this, keeping my head from bouncing into the camera. All right, so I'm going to torque this. I'm going to do the one under it, and that'll be that. Being that these things are quick release plates, I'm just going to screw them down right now. Easily accessible when it comes time to wire up the VFD. Nice.